Are you thinking about picking up one of the new hot desktop practice amps that are out there? I've got the Yamaha THR10ii. I've also got the Positive Grid Spark. I'm going to be shooting those bad boys out against each other today right here on GearGasms. Hi everybody, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host Alan Barnes. Today I have two of the hottest new practice amps out on the market right now, the Positive Grid Spark, the Yamaha THR10. If you saw recently, I did a shootout between the Spark and the Line 6 Amplify. I encourage you to check that out. I've also done other videos on just the Spark by itself. I've also done just a first look at the Yamaha. So I would encourage you to check out those other videos if you like things more in depth. But today we're going to try and keep this fast. It's just going to be this one versus this one. Going to go through a whole bunch of the things that make them the same and also point out what's different about the two. We'll hear how it sounds, and then we'll come back at the end of the video and score them on preset categories, and we will pick a winner. So without a second of further delay, let's get right into the Yamaha. Right, so the first area that we're going to focus on for comparison is the amp models. Now in the old Yamaha THR there are 5 amp models and 3 banks of those. The 3 banks are Modern, Boutique, and Classic. One thing that's really weird about this is it doesn't tell you what it's modeled on, the actual amp. In some ways that's kind of cool because it forces you to use your ears to jump in there and not just bring some preconceived notion of what a 5150 sounds like. This keeps it mysterious. So just in sheer number you got 15. We're going to ignore the acoustic and we're going to ignore the bass. We'll do the same for the Spark. Alright, so this is the Modern Clean. Of course I'm using my trusty Charvel because it is so versatile. That's sort of a single coil tone. And again, within that, you can crunch it up, you can throw the gain up. Let's go to crunch. See how that sounds with the double coil? Not bad. We'll go into some lead. Pretty nice. Let's go high gain. And especial. Don't like that one. All right, really quickly, Boutique. Let's go back to something single coil. I like that. That sounds so good. Crunch. Some lead. High gain. I like that. Oh, I like that too. Very good. Classic. Back down to clean. That's obviously a Fender. crunch. Like that. A little bit of lead. Sound like a Marshall to me. High gain. I guess Mesa Boogie. Am I right? Love that. Special. How special is it? Gotta love that. So anyway, that's just a quick run through of the amp models. All right, now we're going to take a look at just the effects. And again, sort of like the amps, there's no effects pedal model that they're seeking to emulate. It's all very anonymous. They're just effects types. Now, one thing I like right away about this app is all of your effects are editable on the same screen at the same time. We're going to skip the compressor. Compressors are compressors. Gates are gates. Now again, when you get into echo, you just have one echo unit. There's not a bunch of pedals. You can't get reverse echo. You can't get multi-tap. All right, so let's go into the echo. We'll evaluate this without the reverb on. Crank the time up a little bit. Crank the feedback up a little bit. I do like that you can change the EQ of it, and it's simple. Let's look at the reverbs. Reverb is just super easy. Again, now here they do have 4 types of reverb, and I'm so happy to see the spring. We'll get back to that later. This has a spring reverb. Let's check out the spring. Anyway, reverb's reverb. We'll just give you some hall. Alright, so we're going to look at the modulation effects. There's 4 of them. There's chorus, flanger, phaser, tremolo. You can only have one at a time, which is just like the Spark. Now the thing I don't like about this is the speed on the chorus seems to get really out of hand really fast. You can see them on 7 there. So I'm not even basically a third of the way up on the knob, and it's really getting kind of like vibey. Flanger. See, the speed's almost all the way off. Let's hear how it sounds with the high gain. If you turn this flanger up, hear that? Even just halfway up. I mean, let's. Who needs this sound? Ugly. Phaser. Now you notice when these effects come in, they come in at a more tasteful setup. But look, see that? It's a 4. That's where the phaser comes in. So they're admitting that 4 is tasteful. But let's just crank it up to 27. That's not for me. I don't take LSD. I don't even know where you could get LSD these days. Who are they designing this thing for? Who would use that sound? Ugh. Let's go to the tremolo. So I do like it that it does that helicopter kind of choppy kind of thing. That's pretty cool. The tremolo is obviously more subtle than some of the rest, but basically that's the effects that are in the Yamaha THR in a nutshell. All right, really quickly now I'm going to just talk about just the app and the presets. Now in this unit you can store 5 presets. 1, 2. It does that every time you change presets. That's super irritating. That's no bueno. Yamaha/Line 6. But you can store 5 physically on the amp. Most amps are 4. This gives you 1 extra. Let's load the factory presets. It gives you 41 total, but the last 6 are acoustic and bass, which we're ignoring for this thing. I'll just pick a couple at random. They put early VH right up front. I wonder why they did that. Not bad. Crispy crunch. Paisley. Obviously that's Brad Paisley and not like Jimi Hendrix. Plexity. Limelighter. What might this be? That's all I can play of that. Copyright. He came to rock. That's a good one. It does the gent. It does gent. Funky rhythm. Kinda cool. Know your friend. I don't know where they get these names from. Fat solo. And we'll go right to Sterno Canned Heat, the last one. So those are the presets. Here's what kind of sucks. You can make your own presets and you can save them to the different slots. I don't really think you can name them, but you can save them. So you kind of have to remember, you know, this was my comfortably numb lead tone. This was my Barracuda rhythm tone. Just 5, that's kind of bogus. I'm really surprised because, again, Line 6 has a tone cloud. Why with this app? I get there's only 5 places on the amp, but why can't you have a separate place to save your tone somewhere in the app? Even if you don't want to have a cloud, just save it with the software. It's just a text file. It's not rocket science. One differentiator we'll talk about while we're in the app, you can change the cabinet. They have lots of different cabinets. Let's hear what just a California 112 sounds like. Versus an American 4x10. Versus boutique. That is sort of what makes this particular app different than the Spark. Spark has no cabinet sims. Another thing that's very different about this versus the Spark, you may or may not have noticed, when it comes to effects and pedals, there are no gain pedals whatsoever. You have to get all your gain from the amp. I kind of do that anyway in real life. I'm not really much of a gain pedal kind of dude. But this thing has no distortion pedals. I think that's very, very weird. Okay, just like the Yamaha, we'll take a quick look at the amps. This one actually has it where it's named after certain models, after certain, you kind of know what you're getting. We'll go over to the tweed bass. Bass man, AC boost. sexy. Soldano. This one has 22 amp models versus the 15 on the other one. Okay, the effect layout on this is kind of like the way you lay it out with the real amp. This, of course, has a gate just like the Yamaha. It has a compressor just like the Yamaha. Unlike the Yamaha, this has a drive. You know, and a couple of these are for bass, so you've got like 9. Not even really fair to compare this to the Yamaha because this has the pedals and the other doesn't. If you're interested in hearing more in depth, I have several Spark videos where we go into that. So let's go over to where the mods are. You got delay, reverb, and mod, and of course when you pick your mods, you have a tremolo, it's like the other chorus, flanger, phaser, vibrato, univibe. It just has more stuff, more flavors of tremolo, all kinds of flavors. It's much more robust. The range of the knobs on the mods are definitely, to me, more player friendly. As you can see, I'm about halfway up on the flanger rate there, and it's not, you know, getting all squirrely chipmunky sounding on me. Same thing with the phaser. Very nice. Tremolo, I'll show you that real quick. Really nice stuff. On to delays, same kind of thing. You got a whole bunch of different delays, and it really makes a difference. Unlike the Yamaha, this has digital delay versus analog delay. Those two things are very different. This is digital. You might want a vintage delay, and I'll show you the difference. See how that in the decay the tone is actually breaking up just like a old Bucket Brigade analog delay. Reverse delay, multi-head. Tape echo. Now onto the reverbs. Again, you have kind of your meat and potatoes. You got room, halls, chambers, plates, plate rich, plate long, room studio, this and that. They all have the same knob layout. There are subtle differences between the But one thing that this doesn't have is a spring. Just blows my mind. So that is kind of the amp models and the effects for the Spark. Okay, the last piece I'm going to look at with the old Spark is the presets. I've added stuff, to be fair, you know, and again, it has 4 flavors kind of on the hardware, clean, crunch. I think this thing originally had 22 presets. Obviously, I've downloaded a bunch more from the cloud. So let's just focus on the ones that come with it. Like Sweet Memory was definitely one. This was definitely a built-in pre. Kind of gives you that 50s thing, Stonebreaker. Breezy Blues. This was one that was definitely came with it. So as you can see, it comes with a bunch of presets. This again, you've got the tone cloud where people upload tones. That's really cool. That helps build a community around a product, and that's really, really smart. Now, the overall, as far as the app goes, the layout is really, really good. Apple Music, it'll read your playlists in. We've talked about that before, but it pulls the songs from YouTube. Spotify I don't use, don't know about. I really like the layout of this app. It's super intuitive. All right, let's get right down to brass tacks and start picking the winners and losers. In the first category, amp models. The number of amp models, Spark wins. They've got more. The quality of amp models, it depends on what you're looking for. I think that the Spark does cleans and mid breakup really, really well. To me, where they fall short is the high gain stuff. On the other hand, the Yamaha, the cleans and the crunches are also pretty good, but they do the high gain stuff very, very much better than the Spark. So it depends on what you're looking for. I'm going to call this one a toss-up. Next category, effects. The Yamaha has much less effects. They give you 4 varieties of reverb, but they do give you a spring. They give you 1 flavor of delay, no tricks. You get a gate, a compressor, and again you get 4 modulations. Those are kind of nice. The range on those is really strange. In the Yamaha, there are no distortion pedals, which is really, really weird. But for me, I like most of my gain to come from the amp anyway. So when it comes to the number of effects, Spark wins. When it comes to the quality of the effects, Spark wins. Hands down. Gorgeous, gorgeous effects. I really wish they'd beef up the dirt pedals a little bit, but I'm nitpicking. The only effect that the Yamaha beats the Spark on is the gate. The gate is a lot less grabby than the Spark gate. It doesn't seem to kill the end of the notes. Next category, the presets. Sure, the Yamaha comes with a good size handful of presets. You can also save 5 on the device. On the Spark, you can only save 4 on the device, but you can save as many as you want in the app. And you can find as many as you could possibly imagine in the cloud. Yamaha has neither one of those things. Hands down, Spark wins it. Now, just looking at the app and its functionality and its layout, the Yamaha app, it's ugly, but it's functional. I do like that you have all of your effects on the same screen so you can dial back and forth between the two without having to close out different pedals and keep going back and forth. I really, really like that. However, just on looks and layout and intuitiveness, Spark wins. Now let's talk about differentiators between the two. The killer app kind of with the Spark is the chord analysis and the Smart Jam. I did show those in these videos, but I have shown them in other videos. And on the Yamaha, I didn't get into it too in depth, but it does have speaker cabinet emulation, which the Spark does not. That is a very, very powerful sound shaping tool where the Yamaha definitely has the edge. The Yamaha is not trying to be your guitar teacher. Furthermore, this is my second video now on the Yamaha, and I still have not figured out how to make it stream music from my iPad to the device. I had to plug in to the headphone output of the iPad and run it into the aux jack to get it to play some music. I didn't show it in this video, but for the play along on Spark versus the play along, and forget about the learning tools and all the fancy stuff, just play along for play along, the Spark still wins. Both of them have a mechanism where you can adjust your relative guitar level to the audio. They're both kind of tied there, but on overall music reproduction quality and just as a streaming device, the Spark wins. So if you're keeping track of the scoring on the screen there of who wins, the Spark eats the Yamaha for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm really surprised by that because I know so many people who love the first version of the Yamaha THR. I think it sounds really, really good. I think they both do. Category for category, even though I've spent more time with the Spark, and the fact that the Yamaha right now is $299, and right now the Spark is $225. I think the Spark, when it's finally commercially available, will probably settle in somewhere around $299. Maybe they'll leave the price the same. So let's pretend the price is the same. The Spark still wins. Now, if you want to get the Spark, you're going to have to like the weight. But truthfully, the Yamaha THR10ii, it's not really in stores either. Every place I tried to get it, it was out of. I bought it for my son. Of all places, AMS had 3 left. But all the major retailers, even my locals in town, nobody has that, and they'll notify me when it's in stock. So either one of these amps that you want to put your hands on right now, you're going to have to be patient. There's probably going to be a wait. As always, I thank you for your time. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. You can buy a t-shirt if you're so inclined. That helps the channel. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, don't tell Lori Lightfoot about it. But even more importantly, do not say her name 3 times in a row. Play more guitar and watch less YouTube, but keep coming back here week after week for more GearGasms.